What is going on, world? What's up, everyone? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new Starcraft 2 video. This one features two of the best Protoss players on the planet. Spawning here in the top left-hand corner of Acid Plant Ellie, playing with the blue Protoss pieces. He's currently down in this series, but certainly not out. His name is SOS. And his opponent, spawning in the cross position, playing with the red Protoss pieces. He's currently up and wants to keep this series rolling in his favor. His name is Stats. So, guys and girls, you can check out game number 1 in this series on the YouTube channel, and I hope you will, because I will say this, guys, that when you look at the grand scheme of things when it comes to the Protoss versus Protoss matchup, it's such a series of mind games. And in game number 1, you know, some very interesting, decision making by SOS. I felt like, had he, maybe pushed a little bit earlier, he may have had his had Stats in that first game. It's hard to tell, and we'll never know. But nonetheless, gotta give credit where credit's due. Stats absolutely played that first game brilliantly with the defense. I mean, defensively, he's probably the best Protoss, has some of the best Protoss defense in the world right now. And I've absolutely loved watching Stats play this matchup in particular. So, it does look like both players are going for very similar builds once again here in game number 2. The question I have is SOS going to play a little bit more of a standard game where he goes for, a natural expansion, maybe play a little bit more of a macro focus game, or is he going to decide to go ahead and, try to just go all in on one base once again, which is definitely possible. Production tab is so similar right now, it's like identical at this point. So these guys know each other so well, everyone, that they know pretty much exactly what the opponent is doing, pretty much at all times. It's quite interesting, to say the least. So here we go. It does look like Stats is going to go, or I should say SOS is going to go ahead. He's got, of course, the double gateways. He's going to get that warp gate research, which is the most standard upgrade for a Protoss player. Then he's going to go ahead and get that Twilight Council, which is the same can be said for Stats at this point. So very similar builds. SOS is going to go for actually a quicker Nexus than his opponent. Now, Stats very shortly after decides to go ahead and get his Nexus up as well. But very, very similar as far as build orders go at the earlier stages of this game so far. So I love it. I love that we're probably going to get a standard macro focus game, possibly. There could be, of course, some timing pushes that could do significant amounts of damage, but overall, guys, we are still seeing very similar production tabs. I mean, basically identical. So it's going to come down to the micro if they basically go for identical builds. So Blink is being researched by both players, which is, of course, a very good upgrade for the Stalkers. Robotics Facility is going to be coming up here for Stats, so we're starting to see kind of like his techs of choice. And on the opposite side, it looks like a Robotics Facility is exactly what SOS is going to decide to do as well. So, like I said, guys, these players know each other so well that it's just, kind of, it becomes one of those ordeals where they're so used to playing one another, whether it's practicing or just watching the other players, previous gameplays or replays. But as far as what I'm seeing right now, guys, I'm not seeing anything too out of the ordinary I think we very well might get ourselves first game in the series as a macro-focused game. And I think that's, and I think that's awesome, because you definitely want to see who's got the advantages, who's better at just playing a macro-focused game, and who can do it in a best-of-5 series. So far, Stats has proven that he is still the best Protoss currently. But, of course, these things can change. Now, we're starting to see a little bit of some differences here. We are starting to see an Immortal's going to be coming out for Stats. Looks like SOS is skipping out on some things for some upgrades like Charge, as well as the +1 ground-based unit upgrades. Now, he is getting an Immortal as well. Same can be said here for Stats. He's getting that +1 upgrades in his Forge. So, overall, guys, we might be really setting ourselves up here for an interesting dynamic between these two players. I mean, more and more, gateways are going to be coming up here for Stats. I mean, the same can be said here for SOS. I mean, this guy got a bunch of gateways coming up as well. Looks like both these guys are really just building. They're building and kind of probably just going to end up clashing at one point or another in the game here. Does look like the Templar Archives are going to be coming up here for both players as well. More and more Immortals are coming out, and like I said, it's all going to come down, I think, to the micro by both players with their unit compositions, since they are so similar. It's what it's all going to come down to is the engagements that both these players go with. So it does look like SOS, as he did in game number 1, was the more aggressive player. It looks like he's doing a little bit of the same right now. We still have very similar build orders, so we'll have to keep an eye on that here. But it does look like SOS is going to see if that third base is up, sees that it is not yet, and he is going to start. He's going to start trying to see if he can get any kind of scouting information in. Now, very interestingly enough, we are going to start seeing those Archons coming out for both players. +2 is going to be started here for Stats. And, yeah, more and more Archons are being constructed here. So this is going to become, these armies are going to become bigger and bigger as we go here. And they will have to clash at one point or another. I'm assuming SOS is going to be the more aggressive one here. He's got a decent-sized army. So here we go. He very well may try to get some of the... might try to get a little bit of that scouting information just to see if Stats has moved into a third base yet. And it does look like there very well might be an engagement here at the front gates of Stats. SOS is getting very close in there. I wonder if this is going to be the right decision to jump in to Stats' neck of the woods here. Stats has got a lot of units here, and the beautiful pickup micro is absolutely on point here for Stats. Beautifully done, and the mass recall is called here. He is going after some of those units, and it does look like Stats very well may have just won that particular engagement, and I wonder if that's going to force a counterattack here. Does not look like that is going to be the case as of yet. +2 is finishing up here for Stats. He knows he's ahead by a little bit now, and so he might just have a little bit of some wiggle room to start moving across the map here. Lots of Archons are here, but with that, high ground vision here, you got to be very careful. Does look like Stats is going to start really trying to push this army up onto, and even with the high ground vision and with that high ground advantage, the pickup micro is so good here by our Protoss player in red, pushing his opponent back. Stats is showing us why he is so good with the Protoss pieces currently. And here we go. The question is he overextending at this point in the game? He is getting so much value out of these Immortals, Stalkers, and Archons, and GG is called. And Stats counterattacks on his opponent and takes a 2-0 lead in this semifinal series at BlizzCon. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between Stats and SOS, and if you did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I will see you guys all in the next one. Peace.